Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere other than California, to be slightly specific. My name is Brian Engelman.
And my name is Blake Walley.
And today is Thursday, July the 13th. And this is the Agree to Disagree program on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you intentionally. Fake news. Now we know it. Just think, Blake, just 5-6 short years ago, people used to think the news was the news. Now it's just a bunch of happy horse crap. And we all know it now. And it's beautiful. Not all of us. There are some lost people that are really, neck deep into a cult. Maybe we can save some. I'm not going to really focus on them too much anymore. There's enough that the adults need to handle. But I'm more than welcome to lead by example, check the track record, and try to win them over with consistency and tenacity. But I digress. Today's topics of the abbreviated program today, the fastest 30 minutes in news. FBI Director Christopher Wray, is he trying to protect the Biden crime family? Should he be impeached for a variety of issues? Is the Secret Service covering up the cocaine culprit at the White House? FDA covering up the alarming rise of heart attacks since COVID started? Kamala Harris, is she the most perfect person to speak about artificial intelligence? And do leftists tend to be more vindictive and conservatives tend to be more forgiving? All these topics and more discussed right now. Blake, topic number 1. Is FBI Director Christopher Wray trying to protect the Biden crime family?
I agree. It's a mountain of evidence piling up on the Bidens.
And speaking of, but before, I'm sorry, you were right in your zone. I apologize. Yeah. But as you said, piling up, I was thinking of ketchup and mustard piling up on French fries. You have today's topic. Today's thumbnail has French fries behind us. So before we pile toppings on, like a poutine from Canada, maybe some squeaky cheese and some curd and what have you. I just talk about freedom fries for a second here. I see the American flag waving in the background. It reminded me of ketchup. So I just had to pause and acknowledge that before we get going.
Yeah, that was part of it today. Try to find some unique backgrounds. And I guess it's a National French Fry Day. McDonald's and Wendy's are giving out free fries. And there's a couple other ones. I think Fat Burger and was it Checkers and Rallies, except I'm not familiar with that, Brian. I think that's in your part of the country.
I think it's more southeast, isn't it? Like Carolinas?
That could be. Oh, maybe it is. Okay. I thought one of those was up in Ohio, but I guess I am incorrect here. Fat Burger's mostly on the West Coast, and they're very good. I think they got
any of them fry their. Do any of them fry it in like beef tallow? Like lard or something that's not toxic seed oil?
I believe Canada, or there's certain countries that use the beef tallow, but it's pretty much seed oils in the States.
Yeah, that's
as far as I know.
I love a good French fry, but from everything I'm understanding, I think the seed oils are things we might want to consider avoiding at all costs. So yes, a good French fry sounds awesome, but maybe I'll use my fryer. I have like an air fryer. Maybe I'll use some olive oil and knock a few out today. How about that? That sounds fun. Maybe I'll do that. I never used that device.
Right. Those are pretty cool. I haven't really had to mess with one, but I'm intrigued in due time. So, Brian, what would you take, McDonald's or Wendy's or Fat Burger, if you had to pick free fries?
I can close my eyes and I can envision. Now, look, bad McDonald's fries are really bad when they're cold, when they're not salted appropriately. But a hot McDonald's French fry is nice. But to know they used to fry them in beef lard and or beef fat, and like how they used to be good, and they switched their formula, that makes me sad. What was the other one you said? Did you say Wendy's?
Yep.
And look, what's better than dipping a hot fresh French fry into a chocolate Frosty at Wendy's? Come on. but if I close my eye, I cannot. For the life of me, I don't know what a Fat Burger fry is. Maybe is it heavily seasoned? Is it the heavily seasoned orange ones?
No, I think it's they get fat fries or they're skinny fries. No, well, yeah, Five Guys will make it with the Cajun spice if you want,
and that's what I get. Right? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think they're the best, maybe. But as far as the free, I don't think they're giving any for free. Even though if you do go, they give you a giant pile. It is like they give you fries for free. But between McDonald's, Wendy's, and Fatburger, a lot of people don't know Fatburger, but I think they offer skinny fries and fat fries. They're both good. I think their burgers would be superior, so I would go to Fatburger. But if it was just between Wendy's and McDonald's, it's a tough call. Yeah, different fries. They're both very good. I kind of like the Wendy's where they got the little skin on it, nice little sea salt. But
I
yeah,
like the skin.
McDonald's, it's classic. It's a tough call, but I think Wendy's, I'll take the burgers a little better. So I'll go Wendy's over McDonald's.
And that'll be our question of the day. What is your favorite type of French fry? And what's your favorite topping? You get them covered and smothered animal style out at In-N-Out Burger. You can get them topped with chili cheese and stuff. There's all places. How do you like your French fries? You use mayonnaise with your French fries or ranch or barbecue? I will dip a French fry in damn near anything.
I guess so. If you're willing to put it in a chocolate frosty, I guess so.
Have you not done this? Hold on. Are you not saying that's one of the best creations ever? The hot and salty with the cool and sweet, creamy, chocolatey.
It just sounds awful. I don't want to mix the hot and the cold.
Salty and sweet is the best flavor profile out there. That you get the sea salted chocolate caramels. You know that?
Those are great. Yeah, dark chocolate caramel. I actually have some from Costco.
Right.
Dark chocolate caramels. They're delicious.
And that's like the salty French fry with the chocolatey frosty. It's the same flavor, but then you get the slight crunch of the French fry if they're fresh and crispy. You get the heat. The heat's a little different, unlike a salted caramel. That's just room temperature or cool.
They immediately cancel themselves out, and it's weird. I don't know. I can't endorse that.
Speaking of
classic, I like them just plain, but sometimes they require ketchup if they don't have enough salt or enough flavor, and I will use ketchup, of course. But if I'm going to do something different, Heinz 57 is a good go-to. But yeah, I guess I'm pretty conservative with my fries.
All right. Well, okay. Back to politics. I love how we're having the shortest show ever, and I decided to take us on this 10-minute sidetrack, and Blake was more than willing to indulge and turn a 5-minute segment to 10. Thank you. But that's why you tune into the Agree to Disagree show, because we're two likable characters and we're also highly intelligent, bringing you the best news of the day. So you can check out the show, get caught up on all the things, and move along with your day. And if you repeat some of the stuff we say, you're going to sound 10 times smarter than the people watching the liars at Fox or MSNBC or CNN. So people can follow you and all of your ideas and the things you share. Blake, tell people where to find you real quick.
Twitter, TV's Blake Walley, or at thenextlevelnews.com for the website and the archive.
Okay, cool. Now, how about we get to the real issues of the day? While America's burning, Blake and I are fiddling on the deck of the Titanic, popping French fries into our mouth. I don't know, like Nero playing the fiddle or something. But tell us what's going on up on the Hill with FBI Director Christopher Wray.
Yeah, he got grilled pretty good up on Capitol Hill, and it was glorious to see. He had a very bad day, but he, kind of self-inflicted. He kind of did a lot of things to himself. So under the fire, on the hot seat, and yes, there was several highlights. Won't get into too much, but I guess one of the big ones would certainly be Matt Gaetz, firebrand out of Florida. I know there's some good ones with Jim Jordan and a couple, but we're a little pressed for time. So he was asked, this is out of Becker News, are you protecting the Bidens? This is Gaetz' scorching ray and fiery exchange on the FBI corruption. So let's tune into this.
I'm sitting here with my father. And my ability to forever hold a grudge, you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father.
So this is the WhatsApp exchange that was released from Joe Biden, basically they're calling it a shakedown, going after a Chinese national, asking him for millions of dollars, allegedly while Joe Biden was in the room with him. So this would be the highest levels of corruption, very blatant and obvious example. And this is Gaetz calling out Ray about what he knows about it. So we'll continue.
Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI
Well, you
does
won't
not
answer
and
the
has
question.
no
Hold on.
interest in
You won't answer the
protecting
question
anyone
about whether or not
politically.
that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this, they know it is, and your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you.
Right. So that kind of goes along with Joe at the Council on Foreign Relations when he was bragging about bribing to get the Ukrainian prosecutor fired that was investigating Burisma, where his son was working. So here is another one. So why would he just sit there and play stupid unless he was actually protecting him? So, Brian, what do you think?
Dead to rights. Now what?
Yeah,
Now what?
there you go. Fair enough.
Okay, so is this reached high crimes and misdemeanors? Is this treasonous? Were his actions treasonous?
Well,
I'm not willing to simply bandy about the term corrupt anymore. No.
Right.
Treasonous, aiding and abetting a regime that has staged a coup to overthrow the United States. Okay, so if you're willfully engaged in the cover-up of the regime that has done said things, is it treasonous?
I would think so. Yeah, this is corruption at the highest levels. So we've got the executive branch potentially being compromised and setting forth policy depending on, high bidders around the world, even if they're from an enemy communist regime. So that just is, that just cannot happen here, but it is happening. And the FBI director should be doing something about it. And he doesn't seem like he's cares that much, or deeply uncurious, as Matt Gaetz says.
Suspiciously uncurious.
There you go.
What is it? So after you have your French fries, you would have Altoids, the suspiciously uncurious mints. Right? So didn't they used to have some suspiciously or curiously strong? Curiously strong.
Yep, I remember those. I haven't had those in many years.
I don't know. Today's episode is all about food and drink. Go to TNAM Food and Drink on Facebook, by the way. It's an awesome private group that I run, TNAM Food and Drink. We just talk about food and drink and tangentially related items all day to get away from the politics of the day. So here we are, Director Wray, dead to rights. So now what?
Well, yeah, he had a rough day, and we'll see. Well, I mean, we could go into... if we're going to move around, because we got a quick show today.
Now, was it Christopher Wray that let it slip that Ray Epps is being investigated, or no, he said that Biden is being investigated in Delaware. And then in other reports, it released that Ray Epps is being charged. I don't know if you caught that big one.
Yeah, those are both true. So I don't know if I have all of the clips there, but yes, he did sort of inadvertently admit that he is under investigation through Delaware.
In Delaware.
I don't know how much to trust that. That's in Joe's home state. So won't hold my breath yet. Hopefully there's a man of integrity, whoever, a team. They're going to need a lot of help to pursue that and go after a sitting president in his home state. But yes, there are articles of impeachment against FBI Director Christopher Wray. This is actually from a couple of months ago. So just saying, this is from, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, saying the FBI has intimidated, harassed, and trapped American citizens, deemed enemies of the Biden regime. Soviet-style tactics against normal Americans are unprecedented. So they're shaking down, pro-life people, or, parents at school board meetings, or if they're trying to, tie people up in an entrapment scheme in Michigan for Governor Gretchen Whitmer, or raiding the Mar-a-Lago. Meanwhile, it's a double standard because Joe Biden stores documents in his garage and then nothing happens. And that's while he was a senator and a VP and shouldn't have had access to any of that stuff. So it's not being equally applied here, the law. So we have a major problem. So I don't know what's going to come next, but it certainly was an explosive day, and he took some shots. I can run one more here from Harriet Hageman. humiliating Dirty Chris Wray for illegally censoring free speech in America. So
humiliating Harriet Hageman. Harriet Hageman is humiliating Harumph.
Yep. So let's watch her grill Ray while we're at it.
You may know there is a preliminary injunction that's been entered.
Prior to the preliminary injunction, were these weekly meetings taking place?
I don't know if weekly meetings occurred, again, before the injunction, but certainly we've been very open about this, engaged with social media.
Does the FBI intend to continue to have such meetings leading up to the 2024 election to police election-related speech?
Well, we're not going to be policing
That's
election-related
what you previously did.
I do not agree with that description.
Okay, well, here's what I would say. This committee has learned that the FBI acted to, quote, discredit leaked information about Hunter Biden before and after it was published, that, quote, Twitter's contact with the FBI was constant and pervasive, and as if it were a subsidiary, and that, quote, a surprisingly high number are requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on election misinformation, even involving joke tweets from low follower accounts. Are you aware that that has been reported?
I am aware of some of what the committee has found in its report, but I will add that I'm not sure I agree with the findings.
But that's what we found. Director Wray, you and I both know that the federal government is forbidden from doing indirectly what it cannot do directly. In other words, neither you nor the FBI have any legal authority to circumvent the First Amendment by using a surrogate to do your dirty work. Yet that is exactly what you have been doing. The Bureau, under your watch, has been using proxies to violate the First Amendment. Were you the person who gave the orders to use these social media companies to violate violate Americans' First Amendment rights?
Again, I don't agree with your description of our engagement with social media companies.
So who made the decision to use social media companies as a proxy to suppress the First Amendment rights of American citizens?
Because I don't believe that's what we did. I'm not sure there's anyone that would have made such a decision.
Do you really expect the American public to believe that you were not involved in the decisions related to using social media companies to suppress the First Amendment rights of American citizens?
I can't help what people will believe or not. I can only speak to what the facts are.
Oh,
Yeah.
this lying jerk. Violations of your First Amendment rights are the biggest civil rights abuses. That is a high crime, a misdemeanor. That is treasonous to the oath you took and swore to uphold, to defend in this country. This smirking asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, Blake, this treason at the highest level, high crimes and misdemeanors. I'm done. It is time to speak a little bit more specifically with what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, perhaps. So I don't know. Yeah, the public should be outraged. This should not be the FBI. The way that they've running things, it's not their procedures. And Gates even called it out, saying it's the most corrupt, even worse than when what's his name was running it. J. Edgar Hoover. So this is pretty shocking.
That was child's play. They did not have the censorship and manipulation stranglehold that these guys have. They had, what would Hitler have done had he had the ability to find everybody online and to target and censor and remove and shadow ban and demonetize and destroy and defame like they have? I mean, these are just bigger toys that they have. They're the same types of creeps. So, all right. All right. Now what? Is he being handcuffed? He should
be done. Should he be arrested? Should he be waterboarded? Should he just resign in shame? Or should he just...
Well, there's no resignation. There's an arrest. And you put them away. They violated our First Amendment rights willfully, knowingly.
Yeah.
This wasn't an accident. This was a strategy from the Obama-Biden White House. This is their directives. They're on the same team. They're corrupt and they're treasonous. They're antithetical to what the United States stands for. We have rights in this country, and they've overstayed their welcome. He should be being let out in handcuffs, if you ask me.
Yeah, could you imagine if our forefathers saw this kind of stuff?
Tarred and feathered
outrage.
Yeah,
King George or something. Oh, okay.
Well, he thinks he's a king for sure, this Ray. So, okay, let's move past this unless you had a final thought, and let's bounce around because we have you for a short time. We got to kind of hit all of these other topics pretty darn quick.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it at that and see what develops next.
All right, then let me grab the screen. I just wanted to say one word of this real quick. Here we go. This is huge. It's not. I don't know. Is it as big as what's going on with the pipe bomber that they have information on, but they're still not telling you about? Tim Pool tweeting out, "It's crazy that the media is only leading with Ray Epps suing Fox instead of Ray Epps saying he's being charged for his role in January 6th." It says here, "Can I buy Tucker Carlson a beer?" Finally, in May 2023, the Department of Justice notified Epps that it would seek to charge him criminally for events on January 6, 2021, 2.5 years later. The relentless attacks by Fox and Mr. Carlson and the resulting political pressure likely resulted in the criminal charges. It's just saying, are they implying that Fox is correct that Epps was either an informant or law enforcement officer with a legitimate task? Does this mean their only complaint is the implications of a false flag? Want to add one more thing here, Blake, and then get your thoughts. Share this next screen. If it will click and let me, because I clicked it. Click it a second time. Oops, something went wrong. Whatever, you get the point. Any thoughts on Ray Epps?
This whole thing is really getting tangled up, and I don't know what's to make of all of this right now. So it's crazy that Epps was like going to all of a sudden sue Fox News, and he's mad at Tucker Carlson for, calling him a Fed. And then we find out that he's also, under investigation. So that's strange. So I don't know what to do next with there. He seems like the most obvious example of somebody who could be a Fed. I'll have to be careful about that. But he was inciting things. And he's the most obvious example. And yet they've been dancing around the issue. We've long suspected, they must be just protecting their own. And then he also met in secret with everybody, leading more people to be suspicious again. And now all of a sudden he is going to be under investigation. So I don't know. This is also, one of these news stories. And I'm not sure how this is going to proceed from here.
Well, it reminds me of Gal Luft. Gal Luft comes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm a whistleblower. This Biden crime family is out of control." And the whichever department, "Oh, by the way, we're now filing charges against you." You're like, I'm sorry, that's not how this is stupid. This is retaliation. This is so blatantly, don't do this. Are you out of your damn minds? But this is exactly what's happening here, except slightly different, right? He's now outed as being charged. He's being charged for his role, finally, because of the relentless attacks by Fox. And so what does he do now? Now he's suing Fox for reporting the accurate information. I guess Fox still is capable of doing that from time to time, even though they fired Tucker and they lied about President Trump during that second debate, saying he called Nazis fine people, which he did not, which was ridiculous. And Chris Wallace was run out of town on a rail. He should have been tarred and feathered for that blatant lie. I digress. But so Ray Epps being charged. What do you know? Interesting. Jocelyn adds, "We have to go in," says Epps. Response, Fed. Yeah, that was the day before. We all know this. We all know these stories. We've been talking about it for 3 years, Blake. 3 years we've been talking about this stuff. Still talking. I'm tired of talk. Arrests need to be made, hands down. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to move on in the nature of the time here, but we'll keep that one of the most fascinating characters of the entire J6 saga. So we'll see what happens next.
All right, let's stay in Washington, Blake. Agree or disagree that the Secret Service is covering up for the cocaine culprit at the White House?
It sure appears that way. I'm going to have to absolutely agree. I think the consensus was, even from Bongino, a former Secret Serviceman, they should have had this figured out in 30 minutes. And it was clear that it looked like Hunter Biden was doing bumps on the balcony during July 4th. So, and we already know he's a cocaine addict. We know. So I don't know why they can't seem to figure it out. Or maybe it's Kamala Harris, I've heard, is possibly Maybe it's her stash. I don't know. Or maybe they know where the perfect dead spot is in the cubby hole at the library where this stuff was stashed, apparently. But the White House cocaine investigation is concluded and no suspect ID'd, according to the Secret Service, the New York Post. That they found, yes, in the Secret Service in the West Wing, couldn't identify anybody. I guess Representative Tim Burchett stormed out of a briefing offered to lawmakers moments after it began, calling the conclusion bogus and the investigation a complete failure. Or it's just a cover-up. So if it find out that it's Hunter's stash, and they could easily, fingerprint it if they wanted to, I think it would be, obvious, but he would go to jail for a very long time if that was his. So I think I have every reason to cover and protect his son. But, there's that part of my inner libertarian that, I don't really care about these sorts of things. But not that I'm endorsing cocaine or anything, but, I think there's bigger fish to fry. But they should really go after Hunter for all the stuff that's on his laptop. Anything dealing with minors or anything dealing with, doing shady business deals with foreign agents, that should all be looking at.
And by the way, this isn't just some deal in the Cayman Islands. This isn't a real estate project and you got a bit of a loan for a building, this and that, and you submitted a rebate for something and you've found a way to skim 10% off the top for the big guy. This is involving the country that has us on the verge of a nuclear World War III with Russia. It's at the centerpiece of the biggest problem on earth right now. This isn't just a crackhead doing his crackheady kind of things. This is the most serious thing you could imagine. There should have been a perp walk on all of these people at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue or wherever he's hiding out in Delaware.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So
I like the concept and the theory that maybe the cocaine was planted there to finally throw the Bidens under the bus, and it's going to be time to run them out because Joe's being stubborn enough to want to run a second coup. I like that theory. But yes, that video I watched, it sure appears as though somebody's doing bumps right in front of children, and it sure appears as though Jill Biden is really upset with Hunter about it. So anyway, Jocelyn is adding, this is the third time drugs were found at the Biden White House. I haven't heard that, but I'm willing to look in and investigate that some more. Come on. And you're right, Blake, there's bigger fish to fry. If people want to get high, what do I care? It's what you do while you're high that I care about. If you're going to endanger lives, if you're going to really,
Don't smoke crack and then video yourself like going 174 miles an hour.
That's a reckless endanger. It's not so much someone getting high. I don't really care if somebody gets high. It's just, are they going to harm me in the process of them getting high? That's what I care about. So if this could help us lead to a nationwide conversation about decriminalizing drugs to some degree and just focusing on some other aspects of this process, I'm open for that conversation. But anyway, I think we're going to miss the whole point on this story. So we'll see. Nothing to see here, Blake. Nothing to see here.
No.
Oh man, we got to go fast. Our leftists more vindictive and our conservatives more forgiving. At least their tendencies, Blake. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to absolutely agree with that. I'm going to pull up a story here. It's from the Natural News and a liberal environmentalist saying that the woke mob is vindictive and conservatives are more forgiving. So a progressive-minded environmentalist has had his greatest realization that conservatives are saner and more forgiving than liberal leftists who are ruthless, hostile, and vindictive. So this is about Stuart Parker. He's an environmentalist. He recently posted this eye-opening recognition after his comrades and so-called friends started to want to destroy his life just because he slammed the transgender movement. He felt like being a progressive, outspoken citizen of the land of the free, he could express his opinions and objections to the LGBTQIA ideologies. And when he was speaking out on climate change and endorsing going green, conservatives and right-wingers understood and actually acknowledged his work. So And let's pull up a tweet here. He's saying, in my 36 years as a climate activist, no conservative who has disagreed with me on climate has ever tried to destroy my career, my home, my relationship, my friendships, my social media accounts, my radio shows, my podcasts, or my recreational activities. And let's pull up the rest of this tweet. But people working in the fossil fuel industry who feel my efforts are destroying their employment prospects, people who think climate change is a hoax and a fraud that I'm helping to perpetrate, people who falsely believe I receive money from shadowy European interests like the World Economic Forum. None of these people have felt entitled to go after my ability to earn a living or have a romantic partner. But in my 3 years of opposing gender wang, likely hundreds of progressives, many of whom I considered comrades or friends, have felt it totally appropriate to engage in unapologetic, concerted public efforts to destroy these things, to even come after my fortnightly tabletop RuneQuest games and try to stop those. So in a social partition of contemporary North America, I would rather be in a conservative society, even if it were significantly more on fire, because I wouldn't feel unsafe disagreeing with my neighbors.
And by the way, you can extrapolate this mob. And by the way, woke supremacy should be trending everywhere because it really sums up the mind virus. Woke supremacy. It's woke supremacy above all. It's a religion to the people that are infected with this. It's unfortunate because it's perpetual victimhood, and it really is just disgusting. The same people that say your religion went after witches in Salem and burned them at the stake. That's what they're digitally doing to people now. They are the same exact thing that they try to claim high and mighty, super piously, that they are above, and all of this, these behaviors are abhorrent and beneath them. No, they're engaging in the exact same thing. And you could just extrapolate that back to Christopher Wray, Twitter, YouTube, all of the censorship campaigns to destroy the lives of people that do not march in lockstep with the current crazy opinion of the day, Blake. So yeah, this is important because it really sums up structurally what we're seeing from all of the weaponization of the alphabet agencies of the United States turned against us with the help of the lying legacy media, the help of academia, and the help of social media companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you pointed out Tim Pool earlier. Yeah, he's been like swatted like, I don't know, a dozen times, maybe more.
Attempted murder. Attempted murder.
Yeah, so instead of engaging in debate or proving someone wrong or maybe changing your viewpoints, that's a novel concept. No, they'll just try to destroy your life. I got to worry sometimes because it used to be fun to go on Twitter and to troll political adversaries or whatever. But now you gotta like worry, like they're gonna come after you. They're gonna come at sick the IRS on you, or they're gonna try to get you censored and banned, or they're gonna target your home. They can't be trusted. They've totally gone radical. They've become unhinged.
But this is all the more reason why the good men of the world, good men and women, the good humans need to speak up. The only thing it takes for evil to succeed in this world is for the good people to stand by and do nothing. The enemy is at the gates. They are snarling and frothing on every damn front. All right, so I guess we got to be a little bit more bold in what we're saying and be kind and be compassionate and be honest and fall back to truth and compassion and common sense. Let crazy fall where crazy lies. I mean, what else are we going to do? We can't run forever. Our backs are up against a wall, Blake. We're getting it from every angle of every part of society. And most people just want to be left alone. We want to exist in this space. And I'm not going to steal from you. I'm not going to punch you. I'm not going to we're all going to coexist and do our thing. You must adopt every one of our wacky tenets or we will attack you. Okay. So now we're being attacked. There's no undoing that. You can't unscramble those eggs. You just have to take the eggs. You have to take the skillet and toss it in the trash. Start over. These attacking people. I mean, this is domestic terrorism, and it's gotten really wonky because the Democrats really push this through their lying legacy media and their social media outlets. They love putting the scorpion in the cage with the tarantula and shaking it up. The red ants and the black ants and shake it up. It's exactly what they did on Charlottesville. It's what they do on their damn newscasts every single night. These people are not to be trusted, and we really have to start moving away from them and holding them accountable for the actions they're helping participate in fomenting. So that's why that issue is important. Is it more important than what's going on with the COVID shots leading to the FDA covering up potentially a rise in heart attacks? This is probably the number one story, and we got to it at the last moment before you're out the door.
Well, okay, I got about 10 minutes, but yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to follow up. But speaking of like crazy, unhinged leftists and this cult mentality, I do want to show you a couple of them. Now, Matt Taibbi has come around a lot, who is a liberal, but has, it would be considered the extreme far right these days. So he's one of the ones that has, stayed to his roots, while Keith Olbermann has become just completely crazy and unhinged. And you should see what he look at it. He writes fuck off towards Cornel West, of all people, because his political views are different. So here is the
it's nice watching the left eat their own, though. It might be the only thing that saves this earth, is watching the left run out of targets. First they came for the gypsies, and I wasn't a gypsy, so I said nothing. And then they came after me, and no one was there to defend me. The left eating their own might be the only thing that saves this in the end. So I go after Cornel West. I will tune in for that tarantula versus scorpion, self-inflicted. I didn't set it up. Oh, left eat the left. I love it.
Yeah, and Cornel West is a respectable leftist, and now he's actually putting out independent thoughts because he's running as a third party, I guess. So he's saying, let us not be deceived. NATO is an expanding instrument of U.S. global power that provoked Russia into a criminal invasion and occupation of Ukraine. He's going into the whole proxy war and all of this really great stuff, and saying the Democratic Party is a party of war and Wall Street targeting Russia and China. Let us save our democracy and world by dismantling U.S. militarism at home and abroad, as Martin Luther King Jr. painfully reminded us. So he's talking about, the danger of cluster bombs, NATO, being on the right side of history, not getting into a proxy war, and then a deranged, crazy-ass Keith Olbermann tells him to F off.
Well,
Your leftist leaders. So
interesting take, Keith. Keith has been a wackadoo for a long time.
Yeah,
you can't trust
a good job during the Bush administration,
Keith.
and he was constantly critical of all the illegal wars that they were pushing and what was going on in Afghanistan and Iraq. And then, holy, I don't recognize this guy. He's totally nuts. Went into this whole resistance mode.
I guess I've always seen him as nuts. I've always seen him that way. Yes, he was probably right on several of those points.
He's a great baseball guy.
I've always had him pegged as a goofy one.
Yeah.
But all right. Anyway. Yeah, defending Biden, like what? You can't run against Biden, so F off, or like trying to shed some information and put some perspective onto how we ended up on the brink of a nuclear world war with Russia, that we are fighting by proxy through that cross-dressing Zelensky guy.
Right.
I mean, what are we doing? If you can't criticize that and warn, just ride through town like Paul Revere, warning people, 2 if by sea, 1 if by air, man, it's going to come from every direction. We're warning everyone to stop this. And Keith's response is F off.
Yeah.
Just, some people have just, what do you say, lost the plot?
Yep.
Lost.
Yeah, he's gone.
Well, speaking of gone, this is the number one story that we didn't get to.
Well, there's 2 more.
FDA.
There's 2 more. We got Kamala. There's at least a couple of them. That's an important one.
Let's do the FDA first. Is the FDA covering up an alarming rise in heart attacks since COVID started, Blake? Agree or disagree?
I am going to agree. So this is out of Becker News again. The FDA is under fire for covering up COVID vaccine deaths amid disturbing rise in heart attacks, and that there's stonewalling medical information requests from investigators seeking to ascertain whether the agency is obfuscating any connection between mRNA COVID vaccines and premature deaths in younger Americans. So one of those things like myocarditis has come into our vernacular because it's been so common now, but not with people that have been taking the vax. It's usually predominantly younger people that are popping up that have taken the vaccine, even though they were much lower risk. So
Much lower.
So it appears that there may be a underway. So the year before the pandemic, there were 143,787 heart attack deaths. Within the first year of the pandemic, the number had increased by 14%. So I think the second year of the pandemic, the observed predicted rate had increased 29.9% for adults, 19.6% for middle-aged adults, and more for older. We won't get into all of that. But yeah, we've seen a lot of people. It's not only just the kids and schools that are getting the myocarditis, a lot of the athletes that are dropping out. Or we talked about Damar Hamlin having a cardiac arrest on the field. There's a lot of problems, and they can't cover this up forever, but it would be obviously make them susceptible to lawsuits for pushing this thing, trying to mandate an experimental medication on people that could be harming a lot of people. So.
And by the way, the little tech underlords want us to say that you should visit cisa.gov/rumor control to read their countervailing views about medicine and voting, because,
Cool.
they have the cornered market on truth. Apparently they think they do. I don't know. I figured I'd add that in case people want to figure out what the exact opposite of what that report has to say. All right. Any final thoughts on that topic, Blake? I don't even have an opinion. It's just, it hit really close to home with me, the whole medical malpractice industrial complex and shutting down alternative treatments that proved very, potentially helpful with very limited side
But not
effects.
very
And
lucrative.
those were all shunned. Huh?
So not very lucrative. They had no way of making money on that. If only Fauci, and they could have patented ivermectin and Roxy, that would have maybe they would have promoted it. But alas, that was not the case.
And it was the implementation of these policies that was directly responsible for a lot of death, a lot of suffering, a lot of families that will never be able to be put back together the right way. All in favor, all to just push something that was quickly put out, tested as quickly as possible in the most limited time frame that they had the ability to. And it was left optional by President Trump, as I argued with Anomaly, or I discussed with Anomaly rather. And it was Biden, let's remember, who tried to make it mandatory that people take these things. It's very big difference. Very big difference. If it could potentially help open up the world and get things back to normal, let some people that are freaking out about it the most and the loudest, let them take the thing if they want. That's very different from you're not allowed to exist unless you have the thing. You can't travel. You can't work a job. You're going to get fired. Like that was the Biden regime, the Obama Biden regime. So anyway.
Absolutely.
All right. Final thing. Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Blake, agree or disagree? She's the perfect person to speak to about artificial intelligence.
Agree. She's amazing, and she's so articulate and passionate.
There we are, folks. Have a good day. Show's over.
Oh my God.
AI.
Yeah.
She's our AI czar. Lord help us.
Yeah. What the hell? This is just like they're throwing it in our face. This is just total absurdity that this is happening. So this one's out of Summit News. Kamala Harris sounds as thick as a brick when discussing AI. So let's just see how bad this actually is. It's a short clip.
And I think the first part of this issue that should be articulated is AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in, what then will be produced in terms of decisions and opinions that may be made through that process.
Sounds like something a 12-year-old would say for like some kind of book report. It's so embarrassing. They rarely try to
remember when Bart has to do.
Yeah.
Bart Simpson has to do a book report on Thanksgiving. He's like, and they Thanksgiving they had a feast of corn, or as the Indians called it, maize. Anyway, it's a great scene, and he continues, and it's about stalling to try to get to the end of a report that you completely did not prepare for, and you try to hurry up and finish it and move along before anyone realizes you didn't say much of anything. Yeah, it's word salad with Kamala. Thank you for the descriptive for the definition, though. That was super helpful. I think we've heard all we need to hear, Blake. AI's figured out now.
I guess so. Yeah, they pointed out it might as well be like we're all in kindergarten or something. Like, yeah, if she's teaching kindergarten, that would have been great. You got to dumb it down. But it just seems like she doesn't know anything what she's talking about, and she's not prepared, and she's just running out there. She has no business doing that. But they put her in that position, but yet she just doesn't seem to care. So, and it looks like satire, and it's embarrassing for this country. So, here it is. Kamala Harris sounds like she had a report due on AI, but absolutely didn't read the books. There you go. You're Bart
That's
Simpson.
exactly what I said with Bart Simpson. Yep. You got to look up that scene.
It's like,
it's really
is the book report due today? Okay. Well, AI, that stands for artificial intelligence. And then, oh my God, stumble through that. How embarrassing. Another low moment for Kamala. So imagine if anything happens to Joe, she's going to be the one in charge, allegedly. Anyway, so.
Yeah, but she has been in charge. She was the first female president.
Right.
No, like Biden had to undergo a procedure.
Right. Or yeah, briefly. Yeah. So, but imagine if she had to hold on to that role permanently. Without a teleprompter, what would she be able to do? I mean, it would like Idiocracy. We'd be better off with.
Better off with what?
What was his name? I forget the character's name. Who played the president in Idiocracy?
Oh, I don't remember either. I can see him. I can see him.
Right.
Yeah. We'd be better off with a lot of things. It really is just at this point laughing at us. I mean, there's no way around it. How someone like that had. I mean, artificial intelligence by a lot of the smartest people out there. It's maybe one of the most important topics on Earth right now, and to have such an unserious person in charge of it, I can't. We are being punked. I'm convinced. We're just on a game show. We're on a TV show somewhere. They're watching us. They're laughing at us. They're betting on it. They're seeing how much we'll tolerate. And they're just like, it's like an episode of Impractical Jokers. You have the reptilians or the robots or something intergalactic, angels or something. I think they're playing an Impractical Joker skit.
Maybe it is that they're testing us to see how much we'll put up with. Oh, there he is.
Remember when God teased Moses in the desert, Marge? Tested Homer. God tested Moses. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so who's the character? What's his name? Camacho. Oh, Camacho.
Yep. President Camacho. I would definitely take Camacho over Kamala. Not even close.
That should be the title of today's show, Camacho v. Kamala.
Right.
It's a little esoteric. I don't know that anybody will understand it, but I don't know. I digress.
Definitely. All right, there you go.
All right. Well, is there anything we need to cover that we haven't covered today?
I think that's about it. And I think that concludes all of the time that I have on this broadcast today.
I think we got bonus time with you today. I was on a much tighter deadline than it turns out that we were.
Yeah, I should really go here. I've got about a minute here, but got a deadline.
Tell people where they can find you, Mr. Camacho. I mean, Walley.
Right. The TV's Blake Walley on Twitter, and of course my website, thenextlevelnews.com, which we'll put this show on the archive as usual. So thank you very much, Brian. Thanks, everybody. And can't wait to do it again next week.
Heck yeah.
All right, guys.
Sounds great.
Take care.
To be continued. Have a great weekend, sir.
All right.
There he goes, everybody. TV's Blake Walley. The internet's Blake Walley. The galaxy's Blake Walley.
Absolutely.
Everybody. All right, man. There he goes. Whew, that was a quick one. Yeah, I thought we had a 3:45 hard out with Blake, and it turns into we had a little bit more time. Let me see. Go into chat if I can see some of your chats. Of course, Ray is protecting the Bidens. Strawberry Sam, what's 39 buried, 0 found? What was that in reference to? Oh, and then you're talking about 40% of cops, and then, that's about domestic violence allegations. Let's see. Why would the DOJ tell... Okay, here's one. Why would the Department of Justice tell Ray Epps in advance that they would indict him? Do they do that with any other J6ers? Sounds like BS. Let me read these on the other side. I have like 2 screens of chat. You can't dumb anything down far enough for Kamala to understand it. Fetterman will be the next president. Yeah, Fetterman Camacho. It's a no-brainer. Yes, Jocelyn, I cringe every time I hear Kamala as well. Surprised she doesn't make a vet. This is so weird. This glitch on this program, I cannot read your comments. I read, what's this one? I hope everyone was writing note that last story of Kamala. It chops off the end. I got to assume you said, I hope everyone was writing notes on that last story of Kamala. I don't know. Oh, surprised she didn't make a Venn, not a Venmo, maybe a Venn diagram. That could have been. Yeah, she's the cringiest. Here's another question of the day. Who's cringier than Kamala? Ooh, that's a good title too. Cringier than Kamala? Question mark. Cringier Kamala. All right, let's see. When they're forced to throw you under the bus, they will tell you that they're going to be arrested just as a common courtesy. I mean, we'll see. And no access to any White House visitor logs. How conveniently non-transparent. Yeah, it's a strange time in the world. Oh, maybe this is The Simpsons. Can I play this? Bart's book report on Libya. I don't know how much I'm able to. This is the scene I wanted to show you. What's artistic use, and when can you? How much of this can I show? So stupid. It's like I'm not making money off of. I'm not trying to sell you this show. Like, go buy the seasons of the episodes. They're fantastic, but it's 25 seconds. I will comment on it. Since I brought it up on the show, this was when I heard Kamala talking, I thought about Bart Simpson right here. I believe this is the junior UN delegation. Lisa is France and Bart is Libya. Let me share the screen. Where are we at? I got to start watching The Simpsons again. It's been years. Okay, here we go. It's volume up, I think.
Okay, Libya, exports.
Okay, Libya, exports. Principal Skinner. And volume up, okay. Volume up. There we go.
Yes, sir, you American pig.
Nice touch.
You American pig. Nice touch. When The Simpsons were on, there was no writing like it. It was just, it strung the right chords, it hit the right notes.
Let's see. The exports of Libya are numerous in amount. One thing they export is corn, or as the Indians call it, maize.
I've written book report after book report that's phrased exactly how he does it there.
Are numerous in amount. One thing they export is corn, or as the Indians call it, maize. Another famous Indian was Crazy Horse. In conclusion, Libya is a land of contrasts. Thank you.
In conclusion, Libya is a land of contrasts. Thank you. Oh, my God. Oh, that is just... And he throws his dictator glasses on. That is just beautiful. Oh, I needed a good laugh. I need to start... I think I'm going to binge watch that series. It's been a really long time since I have watched these episodes. And I've watched, all of them up until... the recent years many times, and they've just been on in the houses that I lived with my band, with my roommates, 5 or 6 people, just TVs on in the garage and in the living room and upstairs. And I remember there was a time they would play The Simpsons for, we were in Northwest Ohio, so we would get the Toledo channel. We'd get one episode. I think there was a Detroit channel. We got an episode. We got a Canadian channel, and we got an episode. And I think we got a Cleveland channel or a Dayton channel, something like that. And so it was like, but for some reason, they didn't play the same episode. They played different episodes. It was on a different rotation. So this was, I'll date myself here, but this was back in the day where you needed to record on a VCR. This is before the DVD sets came out. So the fact that we had Simpsons on repeat in every room with commercials edited, nobody had that in 1997. I had that in 1997. Not to say nobody did. I'm sure there were other people that were as passionate about laughter and witty humor and intelligentsia. There's a lot of, the writers and producers of The Simpsons, Conan O'Brien included, these are Ivy League brains. These are really smart people telling fart jokes. It made the show great. It was a nice blend. Trey Parker, Matt Stone do a great job at South Park. I like a lot of it. But when it's 2 people, I don't know. The styles of humor are different, but man, are various in amount. They export corn. They grow corn and export it. Skinner going, corn out of Libya? Now, maybe there is corn in Libya, but that's certainly not what you think of. In conclusion, Libya is a land of contrasts. Thank you. That's what I hear when I hear Kamala Harris speaking. So I wanted to share that with you. All right. The New American Media is what this program is all about. We had to start something that would give you information differently because we started figuring out that everyone else was lying to you. So the newamericanmedia.com is the anchor, the homepage. I haven't updated it in a bit, but it's there. And there's a good archive of stuff if you just scroll back. A lot of the best stuff is sitting there. YouTube.com/The New American Media. Click subscribe, click the notification bell. If you haven't done that yet, please do that now. That's this right here. This channel has 6,300 people subscribed, maybe 1,700 videos. We want you to follow us there because just, that's where we've put most of our content. The new one is Rumble. Go to Rumble and search The New American Media. All of our new shows are uploaded there. So we really want to be on both of these video platforms for you. Rumble hasn't ever censored me yet. Meanwhile, YouTube took away my monetization as we were growing. Go figure. So we want to kind of bring you to the better places, such as Rumble, because they can help content creators better than a place like YouTube because they're not trustworthy business partners to build a foundation upon. I made the mistake of not doing podcast earlier. I just kind of was like, well, why would I do a radio show when I could do like the video show? It's just, YouTube, it's Google, it's Alphabet. It's not a friend of reality. No, they claim to be disinformation artists and know every correct thing about everything, but they've been proven liars and censors over and over. So on Twitter, that's a good spot for us at American_media_. We want you to follow us there. We're on Truth Social, The New American Media. Spotify is where you pick up our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show. We're also on Signal. What is that? TNAM and TNAM Chat or TNAM Official. Just search TNAM and maybe a couple will pop. Same as Telegram, TNAM Chat and TNAM Official, I believe. But yeah, find us in all these places because we're going to keep covering the news. And I wanted to say thank you to Blake for joining us today. Thank you to Jocelyn and everybody else in the chat room who was talking to us today. Dr. Jekyll saying he was banned for life from Twitter. Have you made a specific appeal, a plea? Have you tweeted Elon directly? I know there's a push to bring permanently banned people back on Twitter. And I'm a little skeptical of Elon Musk, and maybe a little healthy skepticism is going to be important on every level for everybody everywhere, which I kind of tend to think is the case. But Twitter, for now, they're at least saying a lot of the right things. Hiring that Linda Yaccarino from the World Economic Forum, that's a really sus move. Coming out and kind of parroting the CCP's talking points the other day. That was really it was like a hostage video, like it was written under duress. So I have my concerns about Twitter, or Twatter as you call them, Dr. Jekyll, but for now, it's a place, look, we stream it live. Twitter's a place where you can, if you're following us at American_media_ or Dr. Jekyll, maybe just get a new account. It's a new Twitter, start a new account, leave that one where it is, do a new handle, leave that chapter in the past and join the new Twitter, because we do stream the Agree to Disagree show there live along with YouTube. So, it's important. It's important that we're engaged in that marketplace of ideas. So anyway, follow us in all the places. Thank you to Blake. Thank you to everyone commenting, and we will talk to you again soon.